Okay, do I regret summoning on Kokomi? Short answer, no. Don't get me wrong, still think she's poorly designed, but she's still a good character, right? So, basically, the entire reason I ever use Kokomi is Nilou. Or maybe Ayaka Freeze if that ever became, a serious thing that I ever wanted to try out. I have not used Ayaka Freeze very often ever since I got Shinha. So Shinha would have been the last time I actually used Ayaka Freeze and Spiral Abyss. But I think, overall Nilou, which one happened last? I used Ayaka Freeze for a while, and then I switched to Nilou because Nilou is sort of my most recent character right now, and I do like using her right now. And I think if we looked at the Spiral Abyss usage rates, it is literally just the Nilou team as like one of the best teams and most used teams. So yeah, Nilou, pretty good. I like her. She does a lot of damage. And, Kokomi may or may not be like the #1 character in the game.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No!
I don't necessarily... I think it probably does, like, Kokomi probably still is, the character that you use if you're doing a Nilou team. Her weapon is just really easy to get to, and yeah. Basically, Kokomi is a massive tank that is actually able to take the Nilou blooms. I've triple nined her, but I'm not really, I really shouldn't have. When I say I shouldn't have, I shouldn't have. Maybe it was worth nining these, but this is just bad. After using Kokomi for a while, overall, I didn't find much use for her, and, I really just did not use her a lot, and nowadays, when I do Spiral Abyss, she is actually used on my teams. It is either Raiden, Hyper Carry, and Ito, or Nilou. Those are the 3 teams that I rotate on, and I switch around, just depending on which one I want to use. But Kokomi is actually, the #1 character for Nilou teams.
You serious?
She is also the only character that is able to apply AoE Hydro, good, I would say. I mean, Xingqiu obviously can do it with his E skill, but Kokomi's E skill does it periodically, which is way, way better. Just try to be 100% serious in this video and not hate Kokomi is insanely hard for me. If you appreciate me not hating Kokomi right now, just subscribe. That's all I'm asking. But yeah, Kokomi, she's good. But I wish she was, a little better in terms of her damage. That's the only thing that I have that I don't like about her, right? I wish she was better in terms of her damage.
I'm in danger!
Now, because the problem is, if you do any sort of buffing, another character is probably better used for it, or maybe even Vaporize or something like that. There is a reasonable gap between the damage that Kokomi is able to do on her best team compared to other characters on their best team, right? There is, if I were to use Ayaka, which, her best team may be Freeze, I don't know, but yeah. her best team may be Freeze with Kokomi, coincidentally, but overall, Ayaka probably is going to do more damage than Kokomi, very easily, I think. Even with just one burst, I think, it's just easily way more stronger than Kokomi. If we're talking pure Freeze Ayaka, she's still doing 400k on her burst, which is higher than Kokomi.
Hey, come on, baby! Come on! Yes! Come on! Ah!
But Kokomi's a support character, right? This is not exactly huge. I do still think she probably deserves to have crits in her passive, at least be able to do crits. But I don't think it's as huge as if Xiangling couldn't crit, right? If Xiangling couldn't crit and she was there to do off-field damage, she would be still good as a pyro applier for certain characters, right? But if Xiangling couldn't do crits, it would be bad, right? Whereas this, she's on field, right? Her doing crits, right now, what's the crit rate I would have? 40%? I would have 35.2 crit rate, which is not huge, but I mean, when we're saying hey, I've got all these HP pieces, maybe if I put a crit rate or crit damage, circlet on her, she would be doing way better damage. And I think honestly, she's supposed to have a healing bonus on one of these, but I just went full HP. I think overall it is probably better for Nilou teams to go full HP just because, well, you are better at tanking, right? There is also a case for EM, right? Because she does proc blooms, which is another thing. All right, let's talk about Nilou team. All right, Nilou team. You don't need crits on Nilou team. You don't. Like, Nahida, I think, is the only character that needs a crit. And honestly, I don't pay attention to the Traveler's damage enough to actually think that he does any damage.
Am I a joke to you?
Like, the Traveler's damage is so insignificant when you have him built full EM, which is what he should be built like. It's so insignificant. So you don't need crits on Nilou's team, which is, you know, where I think Kokomi shines best, right? She's able to constantly, you know, apply Hydro on field, heal, and other stuff. You do need a decent amount of energy recharge for Kokomi, which is something that I'm not really too excited about. So yeah, you don't need crits on Nilou's team. Nobody needs crits on Nilou's team. Or I've definitely heard from multiple people that like defend Kokomi that, oh, well, Kokomi was made for Dendro. Do you think that Raiden was made for Dendro? Because they came out in the same update. And I'm just going to tell you, Raiden was not made for Dendro. Because Raiden on Dendro teams is a Hyper Bloom activator. She's not an aggravate character or a spread, whichever one of those is for Electro.
Stupid!
She's not. So Kokomi was not made with the intention of Bloom. If anything, Bloom might have been made for the intention for Kokomi. I doubt it, but maybe, right? Maybe. It definitely was not made. She was definitely not made with Dendro in mind. No. Kokomi was made for Freeze, all right? Kokomi was made for Freeze. Very clearly, Kokomi is Freeze because Ayaka had just come out, right? They wanted Freeze to be pretty meta, which was pretty meta for a while, right? And then it sort of fell off, I think, after Sumeru. That was pretty meta, mainly because of Kokomi and how she was able to completely apply Hydro and get everybody to freeze, and Ayaka was just like firing off a 600k burst, right? Guys, I'm gonna be real, I'm struggling with this video. It's so hard. It's so hard.
That's what she said.
Let's talk about her weapons. Her 5-star weapon, a Kokomi main directly told me I would use Prototype Amber over her 5-star weapon, so that's a plus for her and a minus, because that just means her 5-star weapon is just that bad. And even if you did summon on it, because you're a sort of semi-whale like me, you know, you still wouldn't be satisfied, because basically this is basically as good as it gets for her. For a support character, it's good, right? And also you could use one of the best support like weapons, right? I have it level 90, that's how good it is, right? You can use this for like Freeze Ayaka, right? Or, you know, is this for all party members will regenerate? No. Okay. I was thinking that the energy, if this energy was for all allies, that would tremendously increase Kokomi, but it's not. And also Coconut, like her specific weapon also would leave her to not be like a support character. It's not really meant for her to be a support character. It's meant for her to be on field, which is very dumb.
I can smell the failure.
But yeah, Thrilling Tales is a pretty good support weapon that you can support like Ayaka with, or, you know, I'm having trouble thinking, like, really, I'm serious. Ayaka and I think Nilou are her only like serious teams that people run. Like, there is Mono Hydro, but well, you would just switch into Kokomi and then switch into like Xingqiu or something to do your stuff. But I still don't think Mono Hydro is a serious enough team. There is Electric Charge. There is also Electric Charge. That's another one I was forgetting. Yeah, I have a lot of sacrificial fragments, but Electro Charge, I've used it once or twice. It's sad that, you know, Kokomi used to be your only option for Nilou teams. That is another thing. We have now gotten like 2 options, Kave and, you know, Kirara, that are actually sort of defensive for blooms in like, you know, Nilou teams, right? Which, you know, you have to do a little bit of shenanigans with both of those. I think Kirara, you would run like Xingqiu or Yelan, probably Xingqiu. Xingqiu applies more Hydro. And then you would need, you know, Nahida and then also Kirara. And you would just have Nahida attacking while Xingqiu's attacking at the same time. It's the same thing that I do for my Hyper Bloom team, honestly. I do enjoy using Nilou teams quite a lot. Like, out of all the teams, it is definitely recency bias. Don't get me wrong. I will get bored of this team eventually. But because I don't really use this team in the overworld at all, because it's very bad to use in the overworld, Your Kokomi, it's not the best to use in the overworld, I would say. Like, you need to set up too much and stuff. Not exactly there for it. Okay, so yeah, that's all I wanted to say for this video. I just, as much as it pained me to say this in this video, like, Kokomi's good, alright, guys? She's good. I like her. Forget I said that. Bye.